I set a boundary yesterday. I said no. And then I spent 3 hours convinced I ruined everything. Like my stomach hurt. I couldn't focus. I kept checking my phone to see if they texted back, to see if they were mad. Does this happen to you? Or is that just me? Because I said the right thing. I set the boundary. I did what I was supposed to do, but my body was in like full panic mode. Like I'd just done something so dangerous. And I couldn't figure out why the guilt felt so intense to me, like disproportionately intense, until I realized this isn't regular guilt. This is my nervous system thinking. And it's thinking that I just put myself in danger. So stay with me because what I'm about to tell you explains why HSPs feel crushing guilt after saying no. And once you understand it, you'll stop thinking you're broken for feeling this way. And in the next few minutes, I'm going to tell you the one thing that helps me sit with the guilt without taking the boundary back. So still to the end so you can hear what I have to share about that. And if you've ever set a boundary and then immediately wanted to apologize and take it back, this video is for you. Quick thing before I tell you what happened. If you watched yesterday's video on, I talked about why HSPs can't say no, you know this is the next piece that you need to be watching. I post every single day because these videos, they build on each other. And yesterday, why you can't say no, and that will help make sense of today's video because today is what happens after you do. Quick thing before I go, a lot of people who watch aren't subscribed yet. And if you're enjoying the videos and the information that I'm sharing with you, I want you to hit the subscribe button, turn on the notifications button as well. And that's all I need from you. It helps other HSPs find us, find this space that's safe that we're creating together. Plus, it's the best compliment you can give me because tomorrow I'm going to be talking about the HSP overwhelm and why everything feels like too much, even when nothing's technically wrong. And you're not going to want to miss this one. All right. So let me tell you about this guilt. So here's what happened. A coworker asked me to cover her shift over the weekend. And for this first time in, I don't know, maybe ever, I said, yeah. I said no. I said no. And the reason I said no is I knew that I needed to set that boundary. And it felt good for like 30 seconds. But then my panic kicked in and immediately, and I mean immediately, my brain started spiraling like, oh, she's going to think I'm selfish. She's going to stop talking to me. She's going to stop asking me for help. She's going to tell everyone I'm difficult to work with. And my body, my stomach dropped, my chest was getting tight. I was just panicking. I felt like I'd just done something so terrible. Have you felt this? Like you set a boundary with someone and your whole body feels like it's turning against you. Here's the thing. She texted back. And you know what she said? She just said, no worries. Thank you anyway. That's it. She wasn't even mad. She just asked someone else. Oops, I missed my mouth. But I spent hours convinced that I destroyed that relationship for hours. And I mean for hours. I was just spiraling. It's just in my head. And what I kept thinking was, why does this feel so bad? I did the right thing. So why does my body feel like I did something wrong? And it's something that I've had to sit with and try to tell my body that everything is okay, let my nervous system know that it's okay. And what I started also figuring out is that it's why it's actually happening, right? So I'm going to give you the clue. Number one, what's happening in your nervous system is that when you say no, you start feeling guilty for having said no for something that, for anybody else, if they're asked, they're just going to say no or yes or, but for us highly sensitive people, it's a little different. So let me tell you what's happening in your nervous system. But first, can I ask you something? I'm going to ask, when you set a boundary, where does the guilt live in your body? Where do you feel that guilt? For me, I'll share with you where I feel the guilt. I feel it in my stomach, and sometimes I'll feel it too in my chest. And it feels like physical pain. It feels like I'm just hurting, like my stomach, I have a stomach ache. And not being in the medical field, I want to tell you what's actually happening physiologically. Your nervous system is treating no as a survival threat. Your nervous system is saying no and treating that as a physical threat. Wow. And you're not in the physical threat itself, not because saying no is actually dangerous, but because when you were young, back then, that would be dangerous. So your nervous system was protecting you and trying to keep you safe. So, like, for example, think about when you were a kid and you said no, or you disappointed someone. What happened? Did they get angry? Did they withdraw? Did they give you the silent treatment? Did they make you feel guilty for having needs as a child? Does that sound familiar? So, if that's what happened, your brain learned this. Disappointing people equals danger. I'll say it again. Disappointing people equals danger, but keeping people happy equals safety. And that pattern wired itself into, I want to say, your autonomic nervous system, because that part is designed to keep you and I alive. So now at the present time, when you say no, your body starts thinking you just put yourself in danger. It floods you with cortisol and adrenaline, the same chemicals you'd get as if you were being chased during fight or flight. That feels like guilt. But it's not moral guilt. It's not, I did something wrong guilt. It's, I might not be safe. And that is panic, actually disguised as guilt. Does that make it click? Like, you're not feeling guilty because you did something bad. You're actually feeling afraid because your body thinks that you're in danger. Yep, that's what your body thinks. It thinks you are in danger, but you know that you're not. presently, you're not actually in that danger. And I'll give you clue number two. Why HSPs feel it more intensely than other people. Okay, so that's what's happening for anyone who struggles with guilt after boundaries, right? Now that we're at clue number two, but HSPs feel it so much more intensely. And I'm going to share with you what I finally figured out. What I figured out is that for us HSPs, we don't just imagine someone being disappointed. We actually feel it in our body, like it's already happening, even though it's not actually happening. Like when I said no to my colleague, I didn't just think she might be upset. I actually experienced her being upset with me before she even responded to my text. And as a registered nurse, I can tell you why. We have more active mirror neurons. We feel other people's emotions as if they're happening to us. So, for example, when I set a boundary, I'm not just worried about how they'll feel, how the person is going to feel. I'm actually already feeling it. I'm feeling what I imagined in my head that they're feeling. And my nervous system is trying to make that feeling stop by making me take the boundary back. For instance, have you noticed this? Like when you set a boundary and then you immediately want to text them and say, actually, never mind, I can do it. That's not because you changed your mind. That's because your body is actually trying to escape the discomfort of feeling their potential disappointment. Excuse me. And here's what makes it worse. We as HSPs also absorb their actual response. Wow, our bodies are just, they're so wired so differently. So if they're disappointed, even by a little bit, we feel it like a physical blow. Like you feel it all over your body. You feel the whole thing. And our nervous system goes and it says, see, I told you this was dangerous. Now fix it. Take it back. Make them happy again so this feeling stops. That takes me into clue number three, what the guilt is actually costing you now. So here's what I started noticing about the cost of guilt. Check in with yourself. Does this happen to you too? Like, because if this happens to you, you should just take a moment to just check back in with yourself. One, you say, I want to take the boundary back. Like I say no, and then it's so unbearable that I text back an hour later that never mind. So I never actually get to have boundaries because I can't tolerate the feeling of holding them. I need to hold my boundaries, but I don't. Two, over explaining everything. Because if I can just make them understand why I'm saying no, maybe the guilt I'm feeling is going to stop. Maybe they won't be disappointed if I give them enough reasons. But that makes it worse because now I'm justifying my existence, apologizing for having limits because I don't have the capacity, which leads me to clue number three. That to me, it tells me that I don't trust my own boundaries. Because if every no is followed by hours of panic and guilt, why would I ever set boundaries again? Why would I set boundaries ever again? It's easier to just say yes to avoid the guilt that I'm feeling or experiencing altogether. Here's the cost of that. I abandon myself to avoid discomfort. And after a while, I don't even know what my boundaries are because I never let myself have any. And here's what I finally understood. The guilt isn't telling me I did something wrong. It's telling me I did something new. Yeah, I didn't do anything wrong. The guilt is letting me know that I am doing something new. Let that sink in for a second because my nervous system isn't saying you're a bad person. All it's saying is that this is unfamiliar territory. We don't know if we're safe yet. And here's the reframe that changed everything for me. Guilt after a boundary, it's not a sign the boundary was wrong. It's a sign the boundary was necessary. Because if it was easy to set that boundary, well, I would have set it years ago, but I never did. And this is the time that I'm learning that it's okay to do that. The fact that it feels scary to you or to me, it means I'm finally doing something different and I'm finally choosing myself. I'm finally choosing me. And my nervous system doesn't like that. Of course, it's not going to like that because it's something new. Because choosing me felt dangerous when I was young. Here's the language I wish someone had given me sooner. The guilt is just my nervous system adjusting to the new boundary. It doesn't mean I did something wrong. I didn't do anything wrong, or you didn't do anything wrong. The guilt itself is information for us, it's data. It's telling me this is new, this is uncomfortable, but doesn't mean it's bad. It just means I'm learning to do something I was never taught how to do, which is put myself first. So here's what I'm learning to do. I'm not good at it yet, but I can say that it's helping me. It's been helping me. So when I set a boundary and the guilt hits, I don't try to make it go away. I just sit with it. Just sit with it. I know that sounds terrible, but here's why it works. The guilt doesn't go away because I take the boundary back. The guilt goes away when my nervous system realizes that I'm safe. I'm still safe. And the only way for my nervous system to learn that, it's going to be I I have to sit with the discomfort and see that nothing bad happens. The world didn't end. So when the guilt hits you, this is this is what I say to myself, and I say it out loud. I'm safe. I set a boundary. That doesn't make me a bad person. My nervous system is it's just adjusting. And then I sit there feeling terrible for like an hour. Here's what I'm noticing. The guilt doesn't last as long as I thought it would. No, it doesn't. It doesn't last as long as I thought it will. Like, I think it's going to be days, but it's usually like an hour, maybe two, if that. Sometimes it's even less. And on the other side of that, I feel proud. Like, I did it. I held the boundary and I'm still here and they're still here. And then that trains my nervous system because I'm here and they're still here, that next time it's going to be a little easier because my nervous system has evidence now that boundaries don't equal danger. So I want you to try it this week. I want you to set one boundary, feel the guilt, don't take it back, Just sit with it and see what happens. Just see what happens. That's what I've been practicing, and I want to urge you to practice that this week. And oh, if you're new here, my name is Sly. I'm a pediatric registered nurse. I've been in the medical field in healthcare for 30 years, and I'm an HSP learning to hold boundaries in real time. And here's the thing, tomorrow, I'm talking about HSP overwhelm. Why everything feels like too much, even when nothing's technically wrong. Because here's how it connects. Yesterday, we talked about you can't say no. Today, we talked about the guilt after you do. Tomorrow, we're talking about what happens when you say yes too many times, the overwhelm, the shutdown, all of it. We're going to cover all of that tomorrow. So these videos, I created them in a way that they build on each other. So I want you to subscribe the bottom below. Uh, Hit the notifications button so you get notified when every episode lands so you don't miss it. And I will also share the link to my Substack community where we heal in small doses, just like we are here on YouTube now. And I want us to do the same here in the comments. And if you feel today's video helped, go down in the comments and leave me a comment. And I want you to tell me, do you feel guilt after setting boundaries? And if you do, where does it live in your body? Because the comments are where we heal together. That's where the real conversations happen. That's where we realize that you're not alone. I'm not alone. Like we're in this together. And I want to thank you for being here. Thank you for watching. You are not a bad person for feeling guilt. You're just an HSP, and your nervous system is learning something new. I want you to remember to be patient with yourself. It takes time. Be kind to yourself as well. And remember, you're doing better than you think. And I'll see you tomorrow.